Hello, everybody. Welcome to the video. Today, rough breakdown, and yes, rough's it. So don't look at it. Um, yeah, I guess the best we can do is just hop right in. Yeah. So this week of racing, Detroit, all that. There will be a whole week's worth of videos just on this round alone. There's just no way I can, ignore half of what the frick just happened in all of these freaking all these races throughout the course of the night. But we'll talk about the first race of the night. 250 Heat 1. Hayden Deegan had the lead, out the whole shot, up and out. He had good starts in both races he participated in. Smith started to catch him. They got side to side in the whoops. Oh, God. Started to play cat and mouse after Hayden Deegan kind of pushed him up a little bit, pushed him up high, went in, and then they started playing cat and mouse for a couple corners. And then it was a little too gnarly when in that second switchback, Hayden comes up. Boom. There will be a whole breakdown video on this, so this is kind of like brief description right here. Boom. Hits Smith, kind of puts him off. And then Smith says, I'm ending it now. Goes in, tries to hit Hayden Deegan, but Hayden Deegan's sprinting towards that inside line still. And maybe Jordan, I mean, you can't say you didn't expect that, but both pushed too hard regardless. Smith, made another one or two gnarly mistakes, or a gnarly mistake and a minor mistake as well. And then Jamar ended up winning that one. So bad result for both of them. Like I said, there will be a further breakdown. It's such a bummer. Jordan Smith misses the main event there. And go watch the press conference if you haven't already. Your opinion on Hayden Deegan will change heavily. Promise you that much. Very frustrating to watch that press conference. Being a fan of the kid, but 250 main event. We'll hop into. We're not going to cover anything else in the heats. Nothing controversial happened in any of the other ones. So 250 main event. It was a good start for Hunter Lawrence, Hayden, Thrasher, and Martin. Anstey though was good. Anstey was good in that heat race. He wasn't solid. He wasn't like the best. He wasn't fast. He wasn't the best or Houston Max Anstey, but he ended up going down. Had an unlucky crash. But that's the best we've seen Martin start, so I was really excited to see kind of how he's, like, if he started up with the pack, could he stay with the pack? And unfortunately, it was tough to watch him kind of deteriorate. We'll get into that in a little bit, though. But Hunter, Martin, and Thrasher 2 minutes in, it was Hunter in first, Martin in second, and Thrasher kind of settling down after 2 minutes, with Deegan just lurking in fourth. Thrasher, looking for second a bit early on. J-Mart kind of was looking to, spend some time behind him, made an aggressive move. He was still in second after that, though. He kind of pushed him up. Couldn't quite get past. Used a different line. Used that quad line that we saw, kind of varied throughout the night. Made that pass, to get past J-Mart. Then Deegan was rushing. I mean, the guy looked like he was sprinting after J-Mart after the pass from Thrasher. Hunter was 4.3 seconds up, 9 minutes, with 9 minutes left, over Thrasher. So Hunter was out first, and then 4.3 seconds behind him was Thrasher by the time Thrasher got around Martin. And so that's kind of just the gap on the lead for now. Nothing changes for a while. Deegan still chasing J-Mart. Deegan's mistakes, he had multiple of them when he got close. Looked like he was really pushing the issue. So yeah, it was fine. Deegan finally made the pass for third about 5 minutes ago. He's in the same line as Thrasher did to get over, get over and get past Martin as well. But Deegan did definitely have the speed this week. The third place speed, nothing really had to play into his, play into his hand, despite a good start from him, and he did the rest. So it was good to see him kind of out there with just the pure speed that we haven't not seen it, but he's definitely been playing it safe. And then he saw the opportunity at a podium and went for it. And it's cool to see him kind of have that sprint speed with it there. Hunter was still gliding in first with plus 4 seconds over Nate Thrasher with 4 minutes to go. Hunter ends up winning, takes first, Thrasher in second, Deegan in third, J-Mart in fourth, Blows in fifth, Tom V. Al in sixth, And like I said, please go watch that press conference if you haven't already. You don't have to watch all the 450 bull stuff. You kind of just can move to the 250s and watch from there. Your opinion on Hayden Deegan, I promise you, will vary. And there will be a whole nother video about that probably tomorrow. So, freaking ridiculous what I just watched. But headed into probably the best race we've seen in a long time. I'm going to have to make sure to take my time on each note because there is a lot to go around here. We'll talk about the clean starts from Aaron Plessinger, Adam Cianciarulo, Tomac, Webb, all off to great starts. Barcia in 5th off the start with Chase in 7th, Kenny in 6th, Anderson in 8th. So it was Barcia, Kenny, Chase, Anderson with those top 4 guys out front. Cianciarulo looking more normal now after that whole shot. So it was really, really cool to see Adam Cianciarulo. I'm not sure if he got the whole shot, but he was out front and led for a little bit at least. And normally that is kind of what we saw vintage or last year or whatever AC do. He got out front and he didn't lead any like crazy laps, but he definitely sets the tone with his starts, and it's good to know that he still has those around. And then, talk about Cianciarulo, talk about the pass on him for the lead. AP passed for the lead. AP was absolutely on a rager. The way that it was going all night long for AP was good. Looked really good in his heat. Looked really good last week and translates into this week. Comes out, looked like he was absolutely on one. Everyone was tracking down and passing Adam Cianciarulo. I think a lot of guys didn't really take their time and just tried their best to get past Adam Cianciarulo. Cianciarulo didn't really have too much to say about it. Got shuffled back pretty fast. But it was Plessinger, Webb, Tomac, Barcia, Sexton, Cianciarulo, Jason Anderson, and Ken Roczen, all within 7.8 seconds, 4 minutes into the race. This is what all we've expected for the last 2 years since this 450 group has been so deep. This is all we've expected for the last 2 years now, maybe 2.5. This is all they've made the sport out to be, and this is what I expect from here on out. Is bizarre that the same top 3 ended up on the podium. Spoiler, by the way, but crazy stuff. Eli Tomac was able to pass Webb after Webb's little mistake on the Dragon's back. Ended up casing that. I think that's when Eli Tomac got past him there. AP was out of there. Already 4 seconds over Eli Tomac in 3rd. It was really sick to see AP just hauling ass out front. I think that is very safe to say that he was hauling ass, like absolute ass, like Kim Kardashian ass out front there. It was really fun to see, really fun to watch, really fun and really cool to experience there and watch as it was going on. Barcia was hounding in 4th though. He's just constantly there. You couldn't remember or you couldn't forget that he was there, showing his front wheel, showing some aggressive moves with Chase just behind him in 5th, kind of watching Barcia do all these things and maybe looks for an opportunity to get past. And it's bizarre. All this is going on. Aaron Plessinger adds another second onto the lead. And great pass by Webb on Eli Tomac to go to 2nd. Barcia also finds his way past Eli Tomac to go to 3rd. Bizarre stuff, right? Then another second gets added. Plessinger's plus 6.2 seconds on Webb in 2nd. 7 minutes into the race, you've got to think, is Plessinger just... What is he doing? Is he doing something that no one else is? He's just going a second faster every lap, it felt like. He was just clicking off laps as fast as he could go. I'm not even sure if that's as fast as he could go. He's going to come out in an absolute rager in Seattle next week as well. But Webb made another mistake. Barcia into 2nd. Tomac closes up to Webb, though. So Webb just made another simple mistake. And Barcia ended up getting into 2nd. And then Tomac ended up closing up on the back end of Webb for that 3rd place spot. All this happening, Jason Anderson randomly goes down out of the blue, loses control in the whoops. Tough to kind of tell what really happened there. It's a whole lot of nothing pretty much. Sexton ended up passing Eli Tomac for 4th. A whole lot's happening. Like I said, this is all we've expected for the last 2 years. It's to the point where if you're not making a pass for 3rd, you're going to get hounded by 4th, which is also getting hounded by 5th. So 4th is forced to make a move on 3, and then 3 is in a good position on 2, but 2 is too fast, and 1, I mean, obviously it was AP in the situation, he was broken out, but imagine that was someone else out front, like Justin Barcia, who had a holdable pace, maybe without all this battling in the back. So Absolutely absurd. How much is happening? AP was plus 6.5 on Barca. Kind of AP started to kind of slow it down a little bit, maybe take a little bit more time, focus up a little bit more. But Barca into second, Sexton closing right on in, gets third from Webb, made that pass real nice, real quick, real good. It was an action-packed main event. I'll tell you that much. Crazy stuff happening left and right every time you look at a box, every time you do something, you look in and whatnot. So Sexton found his way to third, was trying to get Barcia, but what is this right here? Sexton and Barcia back and forth. So Sexton was actually able to get to the back of Barcia. They kind of go back and forth. Barcia ends up hitting a pretty big hit. Sexton said in that press conference, he goes, "It's actually a pretty big hit. Glad he stayed up on two wheels," because Barcia really was fighting for that spot, and Sexton took it right, took it right there, and it was just a really, really good race. I think Webb ended up even passing Barcia around the same time. Plessinger, to the point where Sexton got up into second, was plus 9 seconds. Plessinger was plus 9 seconds on Sexton. And then the whole Red Cross incident. This will be a whole nother video as well. And maybe even posted a day, maybe even a day before this is put out, because I might even be able to put it out tonight. But whole thing is, it's crazy that the AMA docked 7 points, right? The most you've seen for this is like 2 or 3, maybe 5. 7 whole entire points. You're trying to prove a point to one of your top riders, and you just don't want to see him succeed at this point. It's ridiculous. Guy's been through so much. He saw the downed rider get up. He saw the downed rider get up, back on his bike. Red lights were on, rolled the first double, knew the coast was clear, jumped the second one, and they still penalize him. And it wasn't any minor penalty. It was a 7-point penalty. It's ridiculous. Yeah, he kept saying that it was just up to the AMA, how much they're going to do about it. Webb had to point it out 7 different times in the course of the podium and the press conference. So, ridiculous. You cry enough about something, you'll get there eventually. All this happening up front with that Red Cross stuff kind of closed, or Sexton kind of got away. He was going to get away anyways. Webb just seemed a little butthurt to me. Like I said, that video will probably be out even before this one. But Roczen was working on Tomac. At one point, Ken Roczen even found himself in the fastest lap. All right, so that's how he was really working. Speaking of Roczen having like the fastest lap, I really saw Roczen. He was blitzing the whoops. The bike was really good. And what if he had his start? What if he was putting up the fast laps from the start? What if he was in that in the Aaron Plessinger situation? Is Ken Roczen winning this thing again? And I think that's what these weeks are going to come down to, these final weeks. It's really going to come down to who gets the best start and who is involved in the least amount of battling in the pack and working your way up through the pack. How many enemies can you make and how many passes can you make? But at this point, if Roczen were to have that start, that bike looks so good. He looked incredible through the whoops all night long. It wasn't like A2 or anything like that, or Oakland, where he was like roll double, and then like triple. Like, it was awful watching him in the beginning of the season. It was so hard to watch. Now he looks better than ever. Tomac was trying to challenge Barcia for 4th. Barcia made a little mistake, gave Tomac way to 4th. Really stacked here. We had Plessinger out front, Sexton in second, Webb third, Tomac, Barcia, Roczen, and Adam Santarella with 7 minutes to go. AP slowly started to lose time to chase. Amazing showing for AP. I can't say this enough. Despite even like settling down and starting to lose time towards the end of this main event, it doesn't matter. Aaron Plessinger still led the most laps by a margin. He still broke out nearly 7 seconds to the next best guy, or nearly 8 seconds, I guess, to the next best guy, and it's still incredible what he did. And I mean, obviously, we'll talk about what happened to him and whatnot in this upcoming little bit here, but absolute chaos in this main event. And luckily, Aaron Plessinger was able to leave that behind him. Whole shots out of there, not whole shots, but gets past Adam Cianciarulo a little bit earlier. Gets out of there. It was just an amazing showing for AP. All things all around considered, just a great ride from him. Cannot wait to see what he does and how he can kind of regroup here in Seattle in this upcoming weekend. Order stays the same for a while. Riders end up spreading out a little bit, second to second. Sexton was closing on him here and there. Sexton finally looked at ease. Finally looked like he was back in a comfort zone. It's the best I've seen him look in a while. The way that he has worked his way through the entire field and still had a chance at this win, despite these lappers or whatever it was. But Sexton definitely looked at ease. He looked mistake-free, of course, until it doesn't. Like, sometimes it kind of comes out of the blue, but with him, it kind of looked like the best he's looked all season long to me. It's pretty safe to say Sexton was there that night, and I think that it's very fun, or it's a very good and great thing for him until that points doc. Obviously, you hate that, but it is what it is. AP had 5.5 seconds over Chase with about 4 minutes to go. By the way, Craig had a solid ride in 7th with about 3 minutes to go. And, due to the AP crash, was able to get up to 6. I'm sure all you guys know about the AP crash, and if not, I'll get into that in just a minute. Aaron Plessinger plus 3.5 seconds with 2 minutes to go. Sexton was riding really well. Lappers ended up, cucking him, if you will. Kind of loses touch a little bit because of the lappers, one lap, so that was kind of unfortunate to watch. Aaron Plessinger, 4.2 seconds with 1 minute to go. Due to the lappers, he gained about 0.7 seconds on Sexton that time around. Sexton to the lead for the final lap, AP down. Really unfortunate incident. AP had it in the bag. 2 to go. He's about to cross the line for the last lap. That on-off section gets a little difficult. That rut gets really deep as the 450s continuously go through there. Leg comes flying off. He goes flying through the air. It was really, really fortunate. But he didn't have to do that whole roll at the end there. I'm not sure what that was all about. And yes, I can say I've had experience doing stuff like that. Right? I'm not saying that what is he doing? Well, he doesn't know what he's saying. That's not me. All right. I knew in that situation, you don't have to do that. It could have been, you could have been a little different with it. It's not your worst approach, but you didn't have to kind of roll your neck, but it showed how good in shape he was. I thought he looked fairly flexible, actually, during that. So if we're going to take anything out of there, it's that. An AP, very moving speech at the end of that main event there. Obviously, a lot of emotions going through. It hurts a lot. You had that one. Hopefully he'll get him next week. Really hoping for an AP win and an AP championship this offseason, or this. You know what? Hopefully he wins the Super Motocross playoffs, dude. That would be so fun. Anywho, it's really, really tough to see, but all things, aside, Sexton wins another race. His second one of the season. He's had so many winning case scenarios get taken out. He was even able to say that he was bummed for Aaron Plessinger, but he said that it was kind of ironic the way that it happened, someone throwing away the lead to get to that point. Sexton wins, and the finishing order ended up being Sexton first, Webb second, Eli Tomac third, Barsha fourth, Ken Roczen fifth, and then, like I said, Craig in sixth, solid ride. Justin Hill, seventh on a Team Tedder KTM, with his brother finishing in 10th, by the way, as well. And then Adam Cianciarulo and Anderson finished in 8th and 9th. But we'll talk a little bit more about the AP crash. It's such a hard-fought thing to kind of look at a guy as fun, as nice, as great as Aaron Plessinger. He's probably one of my favorite riders to talk to. I go to Hangtown every year. It's like hometown race, I guess. And, he's always super fun, interactive with the fans. I've got multiple of his autographs. He's a fun, great person. You can just tell by his TV personality as well. Like, it's not too far off of real life. And it's just a bummer to see someone like that go down, kind of lose it, and get emotional like that. But the fans were definitely behind him. I will count this as an AP win. I don't care what anybody says, ever. AP won tonight, and that's all that I care about. But yeah, that will be all for me. It's actually a shorter one, all things considered. I thought this one would go on forever, for ages, but instead it's only like a 20-minute video. So that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. And if you guys have any video ideas or any thoughts or whatever, comment them down below. Really appreciate it. See you guys.